This is lesson 3-9 over quadratic regression. Quadratic regression is when you input values either from a table given to you or points on a graph in your calculator in order to find the best fit equation of the line. Now, in order to enter the data, you first go to the stat function on your calculator and press enter or 1 in order to edit the list, and then you enter all the x values in the list 1, and then scroll over to list 2 and enter all the y values. After that, you hit second quit to go back to the home screen. Now, in order to find the graph from that, you first set your window in order to match your values given, and you want to set your x minimum less than your lowest x value, and in this case our lowest x value is 1, so I'm going to go ahead and set it to -1, and you want to set the x maximum to higher than your highest x value. In this case, our highest x value is 6, so I'm going to go ahead and set it to 8. And you can adjust the x scale depending on how far apart your numbers are, but in this case, I'm going to leave it at 1 because the numbers are close enough together. And same with the y minimum. I'm going to set it to -1 so that it's less than our lowest y value of 1. And then our highest y value is 27, so I'm going to set the y maximum to 29, and I'll leave the scale at 1. And then I'll go to quit again, and then you go to second y equals in order to get to the plots, and you hit 1 and then turn on the plot, and then finally hit graph in order to get a picture of the graph. In order to calculate the equation of the regression, I'm going to use the same values of the list, and so here are my lists, second quit, then this time you go back to stat, but instead this time you scroll over to the calc function and scroll down to where it says quad reg, or just press 5, and this will calculate your quadratic regression. And press calculate, and this will give you the a value, b value, and c values, representing b representing the slope and c representing the y-intercept. And so you would just record these accordingly, and you would round to the 3 decimal place unless otherwise stated in the problem. So it would be x squared minus 0.593x plus 0.743. Now, for our examples, example 1 says, given the table of points, calculate the quadratic regression. So you go back to stat, edit, and in order to clear the list, just go up to where it says L1, hit clear, down, same thing for L2. And now, for the same thing, you go in and enter all the x values into L1, and then all the y values into L2. go second quit, then go back to stat, over to calc, and 5 for quadratic regression. Go down to calculate, and it says A equals 1, and then B equals 5, and C equals -9. Now, using the equation of ax squared plus bx plus c, you fill in these values in order to get your equation. So this would be 1x squared plus 5x minus 9. And that would be your quadratic regression. And now you also want to keep in mind that the closer the a value is to 1, the more accurate your quadratic regression equation is. In example 2, it says, given the following points, calculate the quadratic regression. So you repeat the steps, go to Stat, Edit, clear the lists, and then begin to enter all the x values in the L1. And then all the y values in the L2. When entering these values, you always want to make sure that you match up the points that are given when you're entering into the calculator, or else you will get the wrong answer. Then quit, go back to Stat, Calc, Quadratic Regression, calculate. In this case, a equals -0.014 rounded to 3 decimal places. B equals 0.108 rounded to 3 decimal places, and C equals 7.456 rounded to 3 decimal places, giving you a final equation of -0.014x squared plus 0.108x plus 7.456 as your final answer. In example 3, it says, Example 3 says that, given the graph of the function, calculate the quadratic regression and state the domain and range of the function. So first, we would find all of our points on the graph. Now, with these points, you would enter these. You go to your Stat, Edit, and first clear your list that you might already have in there, and enter all the x values in the L1 like before. And then all the y values in the list 2. Now from here you go quit stat again, scroll over to calc, 5 for quadratic regression, and calculate. And here the equation with the values rounded to 3 decimal places would be 0.260 x squared plus 3.048 x plus 12.171 as your quadratic regression equation. And now for the domain and range, domains for quadratic functions are always all real numbers for every single equation you could ever have. And for range, you will look at the lowest y value on the graph, which in this case is a positive 2. And since it's a closed dot, you would use a bracket, and these arrows at the top indicate it going on forever, which goes to positive infinity, which indicates a parentheses. And